In 2018, if you recall, Boris Johnson attended a party with the person who is now Lord Lebedev in the castle that he owns in Perugia in April. And this BJ party has caused lots of concerns because at it, Boris also had a meeting with Lebedev's father, Alexander. Now, Alexander Lebedev, the father of Yevgeny, now Lord Yevgeny of Hampton and Siberia. I didn't realize that Britain had land in Siberia, but I suppose British people have been exiled to Siberia, so I suppose we would have made a stake in it in some way. Alexander Lebedev was sanctioned for the Ukraine invasion by Canada. And just before the Ukraine invasion, just to make it quite clear, he had a documented meeting with Vyacheslav Dukin, a senior Kremlin operative, weeks before the invasion. And we know that he was a senior spy in the Soviet embassy in London from 1988, and subsequently went on to work significantly in the FSB, from which there was a sort of cursory and nominal resignation in the 1990s, but people don't resign from the FSB or from the KGB. He was elected to the Duma after failing to become mayor of Moscow in 2003. He's publicly supported the annexation of Crimea in 2014. I mean, it's the logbook of problems connected with Alexander Lebedev is enormous. And there's so many rumors about his son, Lord Lebedev, who doesn't answer his mail, as we know. Lord Lebedev, someone has called Two Beards, Lord Lebedev, because there are rumors that Yevgeny Lebedev may be gay. So there may be more to learn about his friendship with Boris, particularly as he has a wolf, pet wolf called Boris. Maybe Boris, Putin, Medvedev and Lebedev have more in common than we thought. So, and Lord Lebedev, to his credit, doesn't object to people circulating rumours that he may be gay. The April meeting took place within a month of the Salisbury poisoning, which is extraordinary. And Boris apparently had not told anyone official about this meeting. He said that he didn't take official papers with him, and he said that there wasn't anything about government that was discussed on the trip. Evidently not so, because Lord Simon MacDonald, a senior civil servant, I think he was his permanent private secretary in the Foreign Office, says that Boris hadn't told him anything about the trip to that party. And he went on record last night on dispatches on Channel 4. And so Boris's statements, I think I did mention it, yes, clearly not. At the time, well, not enough, it seems. As far as I'm aware, no government business was discussed. That's another vague Boris answer. And this party, this BJ party, immediately after a NATO summit, Simon MacDonald, his permanent private secretary, did not know that the foreign secretary was going to this. He says, you would have expected him to tell the principal private secretary. The principal private secretary. Sorry, not the permanent private secretary, the principal private secretary. Johnson, when it came to Lord Lebedev's appointment to the House of Lords, apparently tried to overrule the HOLAC committee. The HOLAC committee is the same committee that said that Nadine Dorries didn't deserve a peerage. Well, they said the same thing about Lebedev. In fact, they raised security concerns with Lebedev. It was unheard of, said Lord Clark, Labour peer, who was part of that HOLAC committee, unheard of for the HOLAC decision, for the HOLAC recommendations to be overruled. Christopher Steele, a former MI6 officer, has said that he thinks that this was the first case where that he has come across where there was a significant national security concern about somebody being appointed to be a member of Parliament, to be a member of the House of Lords. Now, there's a spokesperson for Boris has gone on record as well, saying that proper process was followed. It's tiresome. It's a tiresome and xenophobic campaign. Doesn't sound like Boris. A person, it clearly is very close to Boris, that he's got the same speech rhythms. Maybe it's Lebedev. It would be nice to know that he can actually speak on occasion. Tiresome and xenophobic. This campaign, says the spokesperson for Boris. Well, I agree. I think I think if somebody has family connections, they shouldn't be answerable for the business of their parent. But at the same time, well-placed, well-heeled parents presumably have some sort of impact on their son's position and views. And if, when somebody is such a senior member of the KGB and was operating in the UK, when Boris was at university, when I was at university, it doesn't sound good, does it? It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Nadine Dorris is one thing, Lebedev is another. And I would be significantly more sympathetic to Lebedev if he actually bothered to answer his letters. I think when somebody writes to a member of the House of Lords, they should expect and should receive a polite response, even if it's in the negative. But no, Lebedev, it seems, just wants the ermine. Well, that's not appropriate.